Welcome to Roots from LNER. Dodge the traffic and dive into a good book. When you travel by train with LNER, it's freedom all the way. Hello there, welcome to The Quiet Coach on Roots from LNER. I'm Jenny Falconer, and on this episode, we're diving quietly into the travel mind of presenter Sian Welby. Hello there, nice to have you back.
Nice to be back. I don't want to get told off.
So, are you a quiet coach kind of girl?
No, I have to avoid. They used to call me HD when I used to work in a shop because they could hear me from the front of the store and I'd be in the changing room. There's something about my voice that travels. And I don't mean to. I get excited. I'm very loud. I blame it on my parents. My mum's deaf in one ear. My dad was a drummer for years and is practically deaf. So when I go home, I have to bring my voice up to this level. Then I come back shouting. And everyone's like, Sian, stop shouting. So I have to remember my volume.
Okay.
I'm terrible.
All right, so quiet coach, no for you.
It's just a no for me. I know that I can't be trusted. I'm just better off in the normal bit.
Okay, so let's imagine you're getting on the train, going into a regular coach. Are you a table girl or do you want to be in the private, kind of like the seats with the little pull down trays?
Oh, different moods. It is a lovely moment if you get a whole table to yourself sometimes. If there's loads of others on the train, I don't want to be cramped into that table either.
So if you were walking down and there was a table for four and there was an empty seat in the corner and there are three people already on it,
no.
you wouldn't go in it.
No, because it's just more that it's just everything, isn't it? It's like I want the plug, I want to put the thing in. I mean, and then sometimes you're not in the mood for conversation, but the person's literally opposite you, so you feel quite rude, especially if they're a talker. I don't mind sometimes, and especially if it's more when you're going for work somewhere. Sometimes you just literally, like if I've been lucky enough to be in the first class bit, they've got the single seat, and when you are in that, I am socially, my battery is drained. That when there's a single seat on its own, I'm like, this is the jackpot. Get me in that seat and let me put my hood up and literally curl up. If I'm tinnies going off for a weekend somewhere, I will happily join a four table because I'm in the mood to be sociable and join in and whatever. So it depends. It depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
I do like traveling by train because I just like the not having to think about the driving part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between traveling on a weekend and traveling on a weekday as well.
Yeah.
So if I've traveled on a weekend, I don't know if you agree, people are much more up for chatting,
Yes.
ordering drinks,
Way
and
more
chatting.
chilled.
And
Yeah.
I've been on loads of trains where the entire carriage becomes like a cocktail party.
Yes.
And everyone's chatting and
Same.
mingling.
I've been there with stag do's, football teams, like hen do's, and sometimes you just join in, and it's really nice. And I've had a time when I was stuck on the train. It was amazing how many people helped because I had Ruby with me, and there was mums offering me nappies and milk, and we all, it is nice because you can get up and walk. I like that. If you get a bit stir crazy, I'm not very good at sitting still. You actually can get up, stretch your legs, go to the buffet car and actually go and get a cup of tea and a sandwich and a snack and maybe a wine if you're, with the girls. And that actually breaks up the journey. I love that.
And by the way, if you are on LNER at the moment and you're on a train going somewhere, there's also a QR code on your seat and you can just order stuff to you.
That blew my mind when I realized you could do that.
That's nice.
It's like, especially as well when I've had Ruby fall asleep on me.
And you can't move.
And I can't move and I'm thinking, I just want a cup of tea desperately. And then I've done that and gone, oh, this is amazing. It's just arrived to my seat.
That's exactly the time you need the toilet though. When you don't want to move her and you're like, oh no.
Nap trap, they
what
call
am I going to do? That is it. Look, I was going to ask you as well, what switches you off from the rest of the world? What grounds you? What is it that kind of makes you just feel like you?
I sometimes just say if I am going to do a journey back home and I'm on the train, because I work in music all day, I tend to reach for a podcast more than music because my brain does need to switch off to something different and I want to hear someone else's conversation. I don't want to hear my own voice. So I go for normally like a comedian's podcast or something like that and just pop that in. Because I don't want to be almost overstimulated actually on a train. Sometimes I'll go old school and literally just look out the window if it's sunny and once you hit that nice pot on my journey home, I hit fields and you start getting like rivers and scenic bits and cows and life and you go, oh, I actually would do me some good to just look out this window and just not need so much stimulation.
Oh my goodness, you're one of those.
I've done it before, yes.
Usually it's people do it because their phones died, but you do.
Oh yes, I mean there's times when I've forgotten my headphones and I've been forced to do it, but there's other times when I have actively chosen. I thought I do feel quite often just overstimulated. Like everything, it's bright lights, it's 10 different conversations at once, and music going off, and something else, and I'm saying something. And so sometimes I just go, Sean, just enjoy the quiet and just try and do something really basic that is actually fine. And I can sometimes be quite chilled, just looking out the window, just a little in my own head, have my little thoughts. Yeah.
It's quite nice. It's rare actually to get the chance just to sit and think about stuff or plan things, just without, as you say, without having a deadline to do it to, just sitting and looking out the window because there's some gorgeous views as well.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't do that all the time, but there's been just times when I haven't wanted anything. I'm like, oh, please, I just want to relax.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me now a place that you've been to that has really inspired you or changed you in a way?
Weirdly, the one place that really inspired me, and it is a bit corny in a way because it's LA, right? Which I know is a love-hate place for people because there's a lot of it that's very fake and very surface level. So in the last episode, I spoke to you about that feeling of being a kid in Disney World and going, wow, like I'm in the place where it happens. I feel like I'm where these people do exist, and these cartoons that I watch are here. And when I went to LA, it felt for me like this is where TV happens, where movies happen. And I did find it quite inspiring because suddenly I was driving down Hollywood Boulevard in a Cadillac. Like I went quite cheesy and literally hired a Cadillac because I wanted to do that feeling. I wanted to tick it off the bucket list. And there was all the palm trees, and there is the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and it's cool. And while I wouldn't want to live there particularly, I found it very inspiring. And I do remember having little thoughts to myself. And outside my hotel window, I remember seeing a massive billboard, and there was someone on it like Jimmy Fallon or someone like some big presenter. And I remember thinking, God, I'd love to be on a billboard one day. And so it's little funny things like that later in life it has happened. And for Capital Breakfast, I've ended up on a billboard, which I never knew would ever happen. And I remember those feelings and go, wow, I remember really dreaming of something like that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is quite a remarkable place. It almost feels like you're in the Truman Show a bit because it doesn't quite feel real, but it is. It is. And for so many people, it's their day-to-day life.
You almost can't believe real people live there. It feels like a set. It feels like everyone there must be actors. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't feel like a real place. It feels like a theme park in that way. But then when you actually go to those diners and those places that you've only seen in the movies, I do find things like that quite inspiring because I go, it's real, it's achievable, and I am in it. And it reminds me that these things are possible.
Yeah, and also the fact that you could see Leonardo DiCaprio at the table next to you in Starbucks or whatever it is. You're like, what?
You didn't see anyone
it?
famous.
What?
No.
Oh, I've seen a few people there, and it's really weird.
Who's the weirdest person you've seen?
Eminem.
Oh,
drinks.
That's cool.
George Michael.
That's amazing.
Years ago.
What, just like in a bar?
Always in bars.
Wow, that's so
in
mad.
bars. Or sometimes people were outside smoking. There was always because everyone had to go outside to smoke. And so there was always as you walked past all the smokers, there was always like a batch, and you'd be like, oh, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? And all those bars that you heard about in the papers or whatever, and then suddenly you're like, oh, there it is. Was it called the Viper Rooms?
Yeah.
Or, there was a few, wasn't there, that were like really famous. And I remember walking past them and going, oh, right, that's where they all go.
I was in a bar there once. I was out to interview Kiefer Sutherland, and we went out for drinks afterwards. And we're in a bar. It was so weird. And in the bar, everyone's going, the DJ's amazing. And I was like, all right. And it was Ryan Gosling.
How weird.
He's just a DJ in the bar.
Weird. But this is what I mean. You're in a place where that can happen, whereas there are plenty of other places in the world where that would be impossible, like my hometown. So for me, things like that, I do still find such a buzz.
Oh, me too.
Because
it's
cool.
so weird.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Feels like you're making it up.
Yeah.
But it is actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Right, we need to get onto your snacks, tracks, and hacks.
Yes.
Okay, so snacks. When you travel, what is in your bag?
Snack-wise, always some sort of mint. Like, I do actually like an extra strong mint. I love having that in my bag. But then,
Is this because you have breath issues?
I hate the thought of it. That's why I always have a mint ready because I'm always talking to people.
Yeah.
So I would hate the thought of that being a problem. So I've always got a mint. And everyone always borrows mine. They're always like, Sean, I know you've got some mints in your bag.
I can't have them because I sneeze if I have a mint.
Oh, really?
It's so weird. An extra mint, strong mint, or a smint. I sneeze. And it's just really annoying. I'll have it and I'll be like,
You're
and it's just, I
allergic.
don't know why. It just kind of starts tickling here.
Well, yeah, luckily I don't have that. But yes, and then I do actually like a Haribo, or for me sweets are for journeys. I quite like that as something, because I wouldn't really buy a bag of sweets otherwise, but if I'm going on a journey, that's the kind of thing I want, like Chewits or something fruity. And maybe if I was in a car, it'd be like Pringles. Can of Pringles, yeah.
Good
Classic,
selection
innit?
of snacks here going on. I like this. Okay, tracks. I know, obviously, I mean, you listen to music every single day, but what tracks would you listen to if you were going to play some music out of choice?
Well, do you know what? I'm sort of unapologetically, I do love pop music, and that is why I work at Capital, and I love all the music that's in the charts. Obviously, when you're in it day in, day out, there's certain songs you're like, I can't listen to that again today. Thank you. I really enjoyed listening to Lily Allen's whole album recently. That was amazing. And so maybe I'll pick an album that I just haven't had time. Like sometimes someone's done a full thing and you need to listen to it in the order they wanted. I remember doing that with Ray's album and thinking, I remember learning when I was a kid, I used to just put albums on shuffle. And I always remember someone saying to me, they've put them in this order for a reason. Artists have done the first track here and the last track there for a reason. So ever since someone told me that, I was like, oh, fair. I need to listen to this in the order they want me to. But I need the time and the headspace to be able to really just absorb it and listen to it rather than half listening, texting, working on my laptop. So yeah, I would probably pick an album that I haven't fully managed to enjoy and just thoroughly take it all in and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. And hacks, tips and travel kind of like hacks, I guess, that make traveling so much easier for you. I mean, you've done enough traveling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few this is probably one that people have said before, but taking a extension lead on
No
holiday.
one said that.
Oh, okay. So taking extension lead when you go abroad is the game changer rather than taking 50 different plug adapters. Just take one, plug it in, and then do all your phone, your hair
Oh my
dryer,
God,
everything
that's
in.
such a genius
It
idea.
just is. It's just someone said it to me years ago, and I always take a 4-plug extension cable. Another friend said put an air tag in your suitcase. So obviously, if you do lose it, at least you know where it is. Traveling with babies, if you're going with really young babies, just something for them to play with on the plane. I took fidget spinners that you can attach to the seat and to the to the tray table, so they can just play with it, or on the window. And then I saw one where you could just take different bits of coloured masking tape. It's always the cheapest things, right? And you just rip it off and stick it on, and all they want to do is just pick it off the table. And that kept Ruby occupied when she was a year old for so long. I was just like, this is brilliant. Other hacks, if you're traveling with a baby, ask for a high chair in the room, because you might think, oh, there'll be high chairs at dinner if we go out and stuff, but it's so handy to have a high chair in the bedroom, in the hotel you're staying at. If you're scared of flying, because I did a lot of flying on my own, and I actually developed a fear of flying, weirdly, through flying. And I think it's if you do a lot of solo traveling, you're there with your own thoughts, and without being awful, you think, well, if I am traveling alone, it's just me going down, kind of thing. It's a bit dark to say that, but if you do get scared of flying, I actually do believe that most of it's the noises. Could be if you're scared. You could be scared of any sort of travel, and I do believe that half of it is the sounds, and you hear all this and and you think, we're going down, we're going down. And so noise cancelling headphones is one of the best things, I think, because also as well, this is what I think about being the grown-up. You can cancel out kids crying, and you can cancel out the noisy person chatting here. So that's a good travel hack, whatever you're traveling on and wherever you're going, because you can put it in, zone out, get in your own little world.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Although, how do you feel? I feel so sorry for stewardesses who are working on planes, and they're trying to get your attention,
Oh, I know.
and you can't hear because you've got your noise cancelling earphones in. You're like, la la la, my own little world. And they're always trying to get your attention like this, because
Yes.
nobody can hear them anymore.
No, that is true, and I do actually feel really bad about anyone trying to serve you when you've got earphones in. So I do try and remember that.
But it is, they are a game changer.
Game changer for just zoning out, and I definitely think it helps you combat the fear of travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Great tips. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for chatting to everything. Before we finish, what kind of traveller would you say you are?
Efficient. I think I'm a light packer. If where I can, I'll do hand luggage. I want to get on the train, the plane, whatever I'm doing. I want to do it efficiently. I don't want to be waiting around, hanging around. I'm not going to get there hours beforehand, but I'm not going to also be a last minute Larry stressing. I want that nice in between where I feel like I've just breezed in to the gate straight through. And that's how I take every bit of travel. If I'm getting a train, I want to get on the coach where when I get off the other end, I'm going to be right by the exit, or stuff like that.
I love that. When you've planned, you know exactly, like for instance, in London, if you get the tube, you want to get out the doors that leads you straight to the escalator.
Yes, I get a kick out of doing that right. You do,
like
don't you? You start becoming really fanatical about it and going, oh, yes, I'm right by the stairs.
If you're with someone else, you're like, no, not there, this carriage.
Yeah,
No.
I do that all the time. Well, I get a train home every single day and I walk all the way down the platform. And everyone's like, why don't you just get on the first carriage? I'm like, no, because if I get on at the end, less walking the other side.
It's ultimately laziness. I think that's what it is, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a win every time. Thank you so much,
Thank
Sian,
you,
for
Jenny.
joining me yet again on The Quiet Coach with LNER. And remember, you can catch Sian every morning from 6 a.m. on the Capital Breakfast Show or on ITV's This Morning. And if you like what you heard today, why not rate and review it wherever you get your podcasts? And make sure you follow us too. We will see you next time on Roots. Backseat the window seat. Reserve your spot with our seat selector. Visit lner.co.uk/reserve a seat. Roots from LNER is a Distorted production.